Hello, I'm Jade Barker. Thanks for joining us for this musical edition of Encore on today's set list. A melting pot of musical styles. Our guest today is the child of a diplomat, and his globetrotting youth left him with a universal perspective. Bibi Tanga joins us in the studio to talk about his first solo album called Now. Plus a royal return. Queen go back on the road as they reveal a live album release. And the biggest global music party, from Bangui to Brisbane and Portland to Paris. People take to the streets with their instruments for World Music Day. I'm delighted to welcome to the program both our music critic, Mark Thompson. Great to have you with us as always.
Hi, Jade.
And also our guest, Bibi Tanga. Thanks so much for coming in and speaking to us today. First of all, Bibi, before we delve into your eclectic career, Mark's just going to run us through some of the big music news of the week. So, Mark, we're going to start with a band that's not exactly new.
No, not really.
Queen have kicked off their latest world tour in the States before they move on to Asia and Australia. The band's former lead man, Freddy Mercury, was regarded as one of the world's best ever live performers. Of course,
everything I've seen of him, he's the most incredible live performer.
Of course, but he passed away back in 1991, so left some pretty big shoes to fill. How are they managing
I think the only other comparison is if Mick Jagger died and someone tried to replace the Rolling Stones with a Mick Jagger impersonator. So whoever was going to take over this role, it was going to be a difficult task. It's fallen on Adam Lambert. Now, this may be not to the Queen purists their heart, really, because he made his name with American Idol. But he does have a lot going for him. His fans know him as Glambert. He does have this persona and charisma about him. Let's have a quick listen to what he sounds like as Freddie Mercury. Now, I think you can see he doesn't really try and be Freddie Mercury. He tries to be himself. And I think to be the lead singer of Queen now, you need youth, you need energy, you really need to be a great performer to carry those songs off, not to mention having an incredible vocal range. And for me, he does tick all those boxes. So it may not be for the purists, but I think it's the best we can really do right now.
So he does manage to walk a few miles in different
he can carry it off. Yeah.
All right. Well, they've also announced they'll be releasing a new album. What can fans expect from that?
Well, the people who do want to hear Freddie Mercury in his pomp, this is a live album from a show at the Rainbow in London in 1974. And this really catches them before they took off completely. This is their first headlining tour. And the album is coming out on September 8th. And what you can hear here is the song is Queen before Bohemian Rhapsody. That's not really something that a lot of people listen to. It's the Queen 2 cult album.
All right, so many classics there. It's definitely gonna be snapped up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to one of the biggest nights of the musical calendar, and the annual Fête de la Musique, or as it's known outside of France, World Music Day, took place this weekend. It's celebrated in over 450 cities in over 100 countries around the world. But the first time I ever experienced it was here in Paris.
Well, the first time anyone ever experienced it was here in Paris. This is French. This became Jack Lang's little pet in the 1980s, and it's really taken off from there. But the real headliners this year was a show at the Great Olympia Hall here in Paris. The headliner was one Lana Del Rey, who put on a free show for her fans. But
I wish I knew about that one.
Yeah, well, I think there's a queue lining out the door all the way down to the metro station, so you'd been lucky getting in. There's lots of other good French acts on display. That's not really the score for the whole of the city, though. There are gigs in parks, churches, theatres, pretty much everywhere you could walk. There was a show.
It is a pretty crazy night of music.
It is crazy. The only question is some of the talent.
All right. Well, of course, it's a worldwide festival, as we said, and there were some celebrations taking place in a city very close to your heart, Bibi. In the Central African Republic, there were musicians, singers and dancers which used the occasion to perform for peace and unity in the war-torn country. Now, Bibi, your new album is called Now, and you've dedicated it to Bangui and said it's a call for peace. How do you think music can unite people?
Like a fella says, music is the weapon of the future. This is the only weapon I have, you know. And you can just make people getting together and give some message of peace with the music, you know. So this is a good point to hear that to hear that some people do the World Day music in Bangui. This is the first time I think they do it in Bangui.
Right.
So this is a good sign because this last year you heard about it. There was a lot of problems of war, you know, violence. So this is a good point. You know, we moving
step in the right direction.
To the right direction.
Well, it's definitely a message that you drum home on your new record now. And one of the songs on the album roughly translates to "Let us live in peace" in your native Sango language. Let's take a quick listen to Alazua Zayo.
Yeah, right.
I almost got it right.
That's cool.
Gotta love that beat. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Now you sing in French, English, and Sango. There's only one song in French on this latest album. That's Ilia. So that song's more about slavery, right?
Yes.
But the message is about using music as a way to uplift people. Is that a message direct to the people from Central African Republic?
Yeah, also to everybody, but it's really, you know, directed to the people in Central Africa because we people from Central Africa, we didn't realize that we have to stay connected and to take care of our destiny because, you know, politicians since maybe 20 years they didn't do their job, you know. So we have to be responsible of that. So this is the reason why, you know, in my music I'm just telling to the people, hey, yo, friends, brothers and sisters, this is our country. We need to make people come, unite and to.
Well, you've been playing music for over a decade, and it has been a long time message of yours in your music. Under various guises and with different bands, most recently Bibi Tanga and the Selenites. Why did you decide to go solo?
Nah, because it was time for me to act like to grow up. No, just it was like you know, I just can't handle it, you know. I just needed to do some new things. And also to work with one of my old friends. His name is Rafael Garo. He did my first album, so I just felt that I need to work with him again. So this is the reason why I called some old friends, you know, the guitarist. He was in the band, the Selenites, Rico Carriage, and two other guys. So we made this album just to do a real mix, you know, of pop, rock, new wave also.
But there's always a really good dancey beat to all of your songs, even with the Selenites or with your solo music. Is that something that you really look for to make people dance?
Yeah, of course, definitely. Not only, but this is the main thing because I need to see, you know, when you're in the audience, you have some people who don't like to dance. When you play one or two songs, then people start to, you know, to move their feet.
I think you can't help it with your music.
This is my goal.
It's a good goal to have. Now, you were born in Bangui, but you've lived all around the world because actually your father was a diplomat, so it took you traveling a lot as a child. How has this shaped your music, do you think?
Oh, it just built it. It built me, you know, because I was in Russia.
Russia?
So the first language I spoke was
Wow.
Russia. Oh, wow. I forgot all the language.
So you're not going to sing in Russian?
Yeah, no, not now. I went to Belgium, United States, you know, so I heard a lot of music. My father had a big collection of records, you know, with it goes from Georges Brassens to James Brown, through some opera shit, you know. So this is the reason why today I'm doing a big mixture of music.
Your father really was a big influence, wasn't he?
Yes, definitely. And he always remind me this, you know, when I have him on the phone, he's just always saying to me, hey, remember, son, I'm the reason why you're doing music, actually.
And like we keep saying, your music really has lots of political messages in it. Your dad was a diplomat. Have you ever considered getting into politics yourself?
No. Not by the way maybe you mean it, because but we all do politics, you know, especially in that kind of country. Because if you want peace to come in Central Africa, everybody needs to get involved. So when you get involved, you do political. You know, I'm not a politician, as we used to say. You know, but I can't see myself as a politician when I'm doing music. You know.
Well, one thing you said that you were really inspired by a lot of British bands on this album,
Yes.
like the Police, the Who, the Cure. What is it about their music that you wanted to incorporate into your own?
Because to me, you know, the British music industry was, in a kind of way, was more wise than the others because they knew how to mix, you know, African music and European music. So they did it with the reggae. It's because of the British industry that we knew, we heard about Bob Marley. Was because of the British industry music we heard about Jimi Hendrix. The Beatles, the English.
You're trying to carry on.
Rolling Stone, the English.
It's a real mixture.
It's a real mix since 30, 40 years. So
We could talk about your music for hours, but I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there, Bibi. Thanks so much for coming in to chat with us. Just a reminder to you at home, you can catch Bibi Tanga in concert in France over the summer, and his new album called Now is currently out. Thanks also to you, Mark, of course, for sharing your musical insights as always. Before we go, though, we've got one last treat from Bibi. You're going to play us out with your song called Upset.
yes.
Take it away.
Thank you.
Get so upset by the way we treat the world. I get so upset by the way we're going wrong. Grew up in a world where being hungry was normal. Now I know that not everybody's born equal. Was raised in a world where being angry was natural. Leaving our hopes behind, I still can almost see them drawn on the wall. See me as a thing without a soul. I could be killed by reactions of all. Will you remember me when you will have